Lately, I've been watching what's going on in the world, and I found myself hitting the same wall. Not answers, questions. A lot of them. The kind that start to stack up on top of each other until you realize you can't just react anymore. You have to stop, step back, and ask, what do I actually believe about this? So this isn't really going to be a video with me having any kind of clean take. It's me resetting for a second, trying to zoom out and think through the bigger picture. Because it's easy to get pulled into the moment, the headlines, the anger, the sides, and skip the foundation entirely. So when do we decide another government has to go? There are situations that feel clear. If another country is about to attack yours, if your people are in immediate danger, you protect them. That part makes sense. But most of the time, it's not that simple. You're looking at things like a government abusing its people, stripping away rights, targeting certain groups, or building power that might become dangerous, not today, but maybe tomorrow. There's no single line, it's a spectrum. At one end, you have genocide, war crimes, mass suffering, and at the other, potential threats, growing power, future risk, and then everything in between. Do you wait until a threat is real, or act before it becomes one? Is having a nuclear weapon enough? Some countries have them and don't use them. Others might. Where does that line sit? Even if you decide something needs to be done, what does that actually look like? Because it's not just war you have to choose. You've got economic pressures, sanctions, trade restrictions, backing opposition parties, covert actions. And look at something as simple as sanctions. They sound cleaner. No bombs, no soldiers, but they still hurt people. Usually the ones that didn't make the decisions. So even the lighter options carry weight. Then there's this. What do we owe people who aren't our citizens? Because every country is, in some way, itself first. That's just reality. But suffering doesn't stop at borders. And caring about something doesn't make acting on it simple. Because now you're weighing something real. Do we step in, knowing it costs money, resources, and potentially lives of our own people, when we believe something is wrong somewhere else? But at the same time, we're not isolated anymore. Economically, politically, technologically, we're connected. What happens in one place spreads. And this is where I kept getting stuck, because the more I sat with it, the more it felt like there isn't a clean answer. Too many variables, too many risks, too many ways things can go wrong. So if that's true, who should be making these decisions? And it's funny because as I was developing the script for this video, it suddenly hit me. Wait, haven't we already tried to solve this? We actually built something for this. After World War II, after everything that went wrong, the world didn't just move on. It tried something different. We created the United Nations. So now I ask myself, what happened to that? Why does it feel like it's barely part of the conversation anymore? So much so that I didn't even think about this until just now. Why do we talk about these problems like we're starting from scratch? At that scale, for the first time in our history, countries stepped back and said, we can't keep doing this the same way. We can't let power alone decide everything. So they built something. A system where decisions like this, at least in theory, are shared. Now, it's flawed. You will never hear me say otherwise. We've got bad politics in there, gridlock, powerful countries blocking action. That doesn't just disappear, and I don't think it ever will. But it also creates something rare, a space where smaller and mid-sized countries can stand together and actually have a voice. Not equal power, mind you, but more than they would have had alone. There is no perfect system. There never will be. There's too many countries, too many beliefs, too many interests, and a lot of people that want a lot of power. So maybe the answer isn't tearing something like that down. Maybe it's making it stronger. Because it's easy to look at something like the United Nations and say, it doesn't work, it's too slow, it can't actually do anything. And yeah, sometimes it feels that way. But if you step back for a second, since it was created, we haven't seen a conflict on the scale of World War II. That doesn't mean the world has been peaceful, it hasn't, but it might mean something's changed. Maybe having a place where countries are forced to sit down, talk, push back, and operate within some kind of shared framework matters more than what we give it credit for. It's not perfect, it never will be. But if something like that already exists, why aren't we trying to make it better? Why aren't we strengthening it? Because in the absence of anything else, this is what we have. And without some kind of shared framework, we're not really deciding anything, we're reacting. And I don't think these questions have clean answers, but they're worth sitting with before we decide what side we're on.